This is Twit.
Back to the duo.
Yep.
The do-over.
Yep.
Do-over.
I should have called it the Surface Mulligan.
It really is a do-over, isn't it, for Microsoft Phone? I wonder if they thought about that when they named it.
Oh, man.
It's our do-over on the Surface Phone.
Yeah, do-over with like VER in parentheses.
Do-over.
Yeah.
But you say here, I'm quoting, sounds like a Paul Thurrott too.
Okay.
Android was the right choice, sure, but what about devs? What does that mean, Paul?
So I got an email from somebody who said, "Hey, this guy put up a poll, like a what do you call it? Not a survey, like a damn it."
Poll,
Petition.
survey.
Petition.
A petition.
Petition.
Jeez, I'm
There
losing
you
my
go.
mind here.
Okay.
We don't usually do this on Fridays. Usually I'm like 3 martinis in by now. Anyway, a petition to get Microsoft to reverse course on the Duo, base it on Windows, and fulfill their promise to developers that they would have one app they could write that would run everywhere. That basically just do Windows Phone over again. And he asked me if I would publicize this on my site, kind of point to it and, get people to sign it, So I disagree with that completely. So I did put it on my site, but I asked people to disagree with it, not to agree with it. I mean, that is the most like selfish, wrong-headed, dumbest idea in the history of ideas. That thing failed. And like you're asking, in other words, for some small group of people that are clinging on to this, most of them are not devs, by the way. They're probably just enthusiasts. Your needs and wants take precedent over the entire world of people that have already decided that Android and iOS are what makes sense on a phone. If Microsoft were to do that, this thing would never sell. No one would ever buy this. No one in any great number. The only way this thing can survive, can possibly succeed, is if it's Android. It has to be Android.
Yep.
Now, the problem is Microsoft does two problems. They have a family of devices right now that all run Windows. They're all Windows devices or Windows-like devices like Surface, where there's great integration there. And then there's the developer story where there is, frankly, there is a need here. I mean, how do we get a code base that we've written for an app that runs on Windows? How do we get that thing going on Android? And so there's kind of two things going on there. We know that Microsoft has done a lot of work on Android-Windows integration. We just talked about Your Phone as one really good example of that. So that work's been done. Microsoft talks about co-engineering this thing with Google, which no one really understands what they mean by that. Co-engineering could literally mean they signed a license for Android, and that's the end of it. I don't know. I mean, if there's a real relationship there or not. But I think, Microsoft has their apps on Android just like they have their apps on Windows. Everyone else does too, Microsoft has technologies for developers like Xamarin that help get their existing .NET code base, C# code, whatever it is, on mobile, including Android. So there's that path. The question is, are they literally working with Google? Android 11 will come out next fall, just in time for this thing. This will probably be based on Android 11. Some work went into Android 10 for dual screen and folding screen devices. Will there be more in the next version? Will they work with Google on that, like they work with Google on Chromium?
No.
I don't know.
No?
Yeah, I don't think so either, but
I think all they're doing is, I think all they had to do with Google was tell them they were making a phone because they needed to license the specific APIs and frameworks that go with having Play Store on the device. That's it.
So in other words, you're saying that co-engineering in this case is much like when they partner with somebody.
Yeah, that's my guess.
What they've really done is they're just the customer. Yeah.
That's my guess. I mean, maybe
I think you're
wrong.
right. No, I think you're right. That would be my guess too. That's where I would put my money. So, but these are questions. I mean, and that's why, here we are. It's a year early. This is the reason they did it. They're going to explain all those questions I just asked. Hopefully will be answered within the next 30 days. That there will be some announcement or some session of Build or whatever it is where they say, look, this is what we're thinking, I don't know. I don't want to be a jerk about this. I'm sure I know there are some high quality Windows Phone apps out there in the world, for sure. And there are absolutely some high quality UWP apps of whatever stripe that run on whatever platforms. But I think we can all agree the vast majority of that stuff is crap. And getting that stuff on another phone is not really a high priority. It's, that failed. Just doing that again would be the biggest U-turn mistake, and it would just be, that's a terrible idea. Android's the right choice for this thing. It absolutely, of course it is.